All right, how are you doing? He's hoping that all is well with you from wherever you're listening to 89.7 Contact FM. Just in case you're wondering what was going on, have they finished the show or not? The information we want to give you right now is that we hadn't even started. We had a technical problem right here caused by the blackout that we just faced right here. The good news is you haven't missed anything of the show. This is One on One, and as always, my name is Eugene Anangwe. My guest in studio is the CEO of Kepler, and he's none other than Hedrick. Chris, welcome to One on One.
Thanks very much, Eugene. I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. So during the course of the program, we'll talk about Kepler, what you do, and of course, how those who are your target audience or the targeted people should be able to participate in your programs. So let's quickly start with a look at Kepler. People understand that, there is a need to also further their studies. And you're here to support the Rwandan students who would like to study in universities abroad. But of course, there is need to understand even more about Kepler. So this is an opportunity for you to tell us a bit more, just beyond that or more around what I've just asked right now. What about Kepler? What is Kepler?
So Kepler is the only place in Rwanda where students can get a bachelor's degree from a United States accredited university while staying in Rwanda. We're very focused on helping our students have a great learning experience and improving their English skills, improving their technology skills. And the most important thing is helping our students get great jobs once they graduate.
So the key point that you mentioned there, Buddy, is they get this education while staying in Rwanda.
Exactly.
They don't need to travel to the U.S. to study from there.
Yeah, there are opportunities for students to study abroad, but they're very expensive in most cases. And where there are scholarships, they're very few in number. So what we're trying to do is offer an American quality education, an American accredited degree with our partnership with Southern New Hampshire University, and make it at a price that's affordable to any Rwandan students. We offer financial aid for anybody who needs it. And it's a fantastic education for any Rwandan student that wants to further their studies.
What comes to mind is that we've seen several billboards, several advertising being done by different kind of institutions that say that they are supporting or they are helping connect those who would like to study abroad. We've seen a lot of that out there. So how different is Kepler from these kind of people?
Well, the fundamental difference is that we're a not-for-profit institution designed to expand access to high-quality education for students that can stay in Rwanda. It's great for the small number of students that can study abroad, particularly if they can get a scholarship, and I'm happy when they can do that. But we want to offer an alternative here in Rwanda that's an American-style education that's highly participatory, that offers a chance for our students to have a different sort of education that allows them to work in teams and gives them the skills that they need to get great jobs once they graduate. We're very focused on helping them get internships while they're still students and in connecting them to the workforce once they graduate.
We'll talk of the workforce and what most universities are producing, because there's been a debate around the quality of education in some of the universities locally here, and probably what Kepler can do to help increase or improve the quality of the students that graduate. But before we go to that, let's talk of what informed the decision to come and set up shop in Rwanda.
So we've actually been in Rwanda for 10 years. We've had a program called Generation Rwanda that has helped fund scholarships for more than 250 students from across Rwanda, every single district in Rwanda, over the past 10 years to attend mostly public universities, the traditional universities here in Rwanda. We've also provided those students with supplementary English, technology, and career building support. It's been over the past year, though, that we've built partnerships that allow our students to actually get an American accredited degree. And we've gained support from our friends at the IKEA Foundation, which is an international foundation that has allowed us to dramatically increase the number of students that can have access to that. We were providing scholarships to 20 or 30 students a year through the Generation Rwanda program. This year, we're going to accept hundreds of students and thousands of applications.
Talking of applications, because at the end of the day, there is also what we call criteria. And most of the time, you have a large pool of people who apply for this kind of facilitation. And some of them miss out and others are successfully picked. So what do you look for? I mean, when someone is applying, how do you get them to either qualify or get disqualified from?
Well, first they go to kepler.org/apply to get our online application, and they need to do that before February 22nd. But what we're looking for is bright young Rwandans who have had good S5 and S6 scores, who have had good national exam scores, who are proficient in English. They don't have to be perfect. We understand that the transition that this country went through just a few years ago, but we want people that are making a good effort in their English and improving and dedicated to improving that. And we want people that are high energy and want to engage in business, in entrepreneurship, in management, and want to help Rwanda grow.
How does it look like today? Because you said you've been around 10 years. Have you been able to get this package? How easy or how hard has it been to get this package of a person or of people?
So I think that a lot of people are interested. We've had thousands of applications for small classes in the past, but we're opening our doors and we're accepting more people than we ever have in the past. And I think we're offering more too. We've improved our curriculum so that employers are saying, some of them, we really want to hire Kepler graduates and focus on hiring Kepler graduates because they've got the skills through their time with us at Kepler that allow them to be problem solvers, not note takers.
I like that approach of problem solvers and not note takers. And that brings us to our question of the quality of education in local universities or some maybe from your own analysis, you may choose to answer this question or you may choose to bypass it. But of course, it concerns the quality of education. There's been debate that you have a graduate who has a degree in education or who has a degree in let's say, journalism. But when you put them, out there, the employers are just shocked. They cannot be able to get what they really want out of these people. So your analysis or your take on that, and then what can Kepler do or what is Kepler doing to increase the quality of the people we get out of universities for the job market?
In the end, university education is about personal growth, but it's also about acquiring the skills and the attitudes and the aptitudes to successfully get a job. There's some fantastic programs at traditional Rwandan universities and some great technical skills that students are learning across this country. And I think some really interesting and progressive changes going on in Rwandan public universities that we want to be very supportive of. At Kepler, we're focused on what employers tell us they're looking for.
Okay, so yours is tailor-made for the employers.
So yeah, employers are telling us that they want students, graduates, or interns that are good listeners, that know how to work in teams, that know how to solve problems, don't want to just take direction, that are honest, that are humble, and that are hardworking. And we try to instill all of those characteristics in our students. In addition, we provide them with technical skills that are really needed in the 21st century information age workplace. All of our students can type 50 words a minute or better. All of our students are proficient at the Google applications and at Microsoft Office applications. Our students have great English skills, and we work on them very diligently to improve those skills. And they're good critical thinkers. And by critical thinkers, I mean they know how to solve problems. They may have spent a lot of their education listening to lectures and memorizing things, but at Kepler, we turn that around. We ask them to listen to lectures in the evenings. There's some fantastic online programs that our students take advantage of. But while they're at Kepler all day long, they're participating in applying that knowledge. And we have every one of our students get internships, both to work at Kepler in helping us run our university program, which might mean they're helping out with the accounting systems or admissions or logistics. But they also get internships with local employers. And the feedback we're getting from local employers is they want more.
So the assurance is that the product that you bring out there is of that kind that can be able to write their CVs properly.
Yeah, that's a good start. We help them write their CVs properly. We help them with interview skills. We help them know how to network. But more fundamentally, we help them learn how to learn and to think independently and to have an attitude that can be successful in the workplace.
So what then do most of those who apply for such kind of programs do that is not correct? Because looking at the applications, where do they go wrong? Because I'm sure there are those who fall out, who miss out, and maybe they want to have a second chance, or they have an opportunity to have a second chance. What is it that they normally do not the right way? That probably we can talk about right here, and maybe if they're listening, they can be able to put into consideration that.
Well, they can't do much about scores they've already taken, and tests they've already taken, right? Though I encourage anyone that is thinking about applying in the first to be diligent about their preparation for those. But that's just a filter that we use. We're just as interested in students that have a desire to be entrepreneurs, students that are open to working in teams, students that have the self-confidence to think for themselves, and students that are interested in becoming critical thinkers and in understanding how things work and then helping to solve problems. And those come out in the interview process. So on February 22nd, we close admissions online. By the end of February, we'll tell those that can go on to the next step that we'll be having interviews and tests in math and English in March across the country. They won't have to all go to Kigali to do that. We'll do it in Musanze and other places around the country, and we'll be advertising all of that. But in the interview process, they'll get a chance to show how they think, and to show their effort in using good English, and they'll get a chance to impress us.
So how do you practically manage to achieve what you just told us here, that you managed to have a university degree, a US-based university degree, without leaving Rwanda? How do you manage that?
So we have a partnership with Southern New Hampshire University in the United States. They have a program that allows students, whether they're in the United States or overseas, and we are their only international partner. We're special in that sense, to obtain a degree by showing what you know. Okay. So instead of a traditional university program where your degree is based on taking a certain set of classes and sitting for tests, and maybe you get a 60 and you pass, maybe you get a 90 and you pass, we ask, and our partners at Southern New Hampshire University ask that you demonstrate a competency. So competency isn't just the ability to take a test, it's the ability to show something, to show that you can write a convincing essay, that you can produce a website, that the program was developed in consultation with employers to identify the top skills that they were looking for in graduates. And so that's what we teach towards, and that's what our students spend time working on. To get the degree, they have to demonstrate those competencies. They have to master them. If they don't master them, they have to go back and do it again. You can't just take a test, barely pass, and move on to the next class. It doesn't matter how long you sit. It matters how much you know.
How much you know.
In this program. So what we've seen is Rwandan students that we have are extraordinarily smart and diligent. Let me just give you an example. In the United States, there's a 2-year degree called Associate of Arts, AA, and then students go on to the 4-year degree called a Bachelor of Arts, a BA. Only about 20% of American college students get their AA, their 2-year degree, in time, in 2 years or less, for all sorts of reasons. Maybe family issues, maybe they just didn't study hard enough, maybe they didn't get the courses that they want, so they stayed on another quarter. 100% of Kepler students in our first group of 50 students are going to get their AA degree, their 2-year degree, in less than 2 years. And we've already had 20% of our first class achieve the AA degree in a year.
In 1 year.
In 1 year. It's extraordinary. So because it's competency-based, you can move as fast as your intelligence and your diligence allows you.
And what of those who argue and say maybe we are rushing through the process?
So that's a really good point. We have other students that are taking longer because it's been more difficult for them. Maybe they started with a lower level of English. Maybe they didn't work quite as hard as the others. But the important thing is you can't move forward until you master the competency. You can't just take a test, barely pass, and move on to the next class like you can in a traditional university program. You have to actually show that you know something. And that's both the beauty and the difficulty of this approach. You can't move forward unless you master the skills. So we're turning what in the United States might traditionally be a 4-year program, because our students are so hardworking, into a 3-year program. So our students will be able to, after 3 years, have their degrees. In addition to that, have a lot of skills that the workplace is looking for: great English, technology skills, problem-solving skills, and go out and get a job.
So what you're saying here is, by the time you leave, by the time you complete your course, you know all those things that you're being tested on.
Yes.
Without that, there is no completion. You don't go to the next level.
Yeah. If you don't master what you're expected to be competent in, you can't move forward. And that's hard. We've had students fail courses, and then they have to retake it. They get their grade is not yet.
Have you ever got those who give up along the way, say, this is just too much now?
We've had students that get discouraged, but that's why we're here. If the students were only taking the course from a distance, like you see those distance learning courses,
Yes.
many of them wouldn't fail. 95% of people who take these massive online courses around the world don't finish them. But our students do finish them, and they finish them, number one, because they're hardworking and they're smart. But number two, because they get a lot of support from us. We don't even let them start the program until they've been through an intense preparatory period that gives them the skills in order to be successful. So we don't want them to fail. We want them to be challenged, but we don't want them to fail. And that's what all of our staff are focused on. Number one, preparing our students. Number two, mentoring them, coaching them through the process. And number three, being there to help them get the job on the other end. I spend a lot of my time sitting down with CEOs of employers here in Rwanda. If any of you are listening, give me a call. And helping understand what they're looking for, and making sure our studies prepare our students to get great jobs.
So what you're saying here is that your curriculum, or whatever you're training people on, is not a fixed thing. You change based on what the employers are looking for.
So yes, so our degree program is fixed and has an emphasis on business skills.
Okay.
Right? But in addition to that, we provide other courses here in Kigali that give them the sort of technical skills and train them in the attitudes that our employer partners say they're looking for. So I sat down with the managing director of Sulfo yesterday. It's a big company here in Rwanda, employs several hundred people. And he said he didn't really care so much about the degree program. He cared about what attitudes new employees bring into the workforce. Are they willing to get their hands dirty? Are they willing to learn on the job? Are they willing to be humble and accept feedback? We spend a lot of time in our courses giving feedback to our students so they can every day get a little bit better.
Sure.
And that's what employers are looking for.
So talking of that, how do we then solve this problem of employers who say that we have a problem of skilled labor in the country, where you say that you want this type of person, but the skills are not hands-on. They don't know how to do it. They cannot be able to do it properly. Yet every year we have graduates coming out of traditional universities and some joining the job market, but they're not ripe, they're not ready for it. How do we solve that problem?
Well, I think Kepler is a small part of the solution. What we're hoping is that we'll create a model that will influence other institutions. We're already developing a relationship with the University of Rwanda, where in their new agribusiness master's program, they're training a few dozen students to get degrees, master's degrees in the very quickly growing sector of agricultural business. We're partnering with them to give some of their graduates the sort of other skills, not the technical skills, but the attitude, the English improvement, the ability to work in teams, all of those things that our employers are telling us are really important. We're adding that on. And so we're already starting partnerships with local universities. And we're committed to documenting what we've learned, what works, what doesn't work. Our supporters at the IKEA Foundation are supporting us to take this model to other countries as well. Rwanda's our key place to start, and we're going to grow here. But we hope Rwanda will be a great example for the rest of Africa and the world. And in fact, we're already seeing organizations in the United States copying what we're doing. So Rwanda right now is influencing United States education.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So how then do you tackle that area where probably some will say, this is a system that we are not used to, and probably we decided on our system because we believe this is the right model. I'm talking about the traditional universities here, how they work, how they coach their students. They have a curriculum program that is there fixed. How do you think it will be easy or hard for you to be able to penetrate and maybe convince them and make them understand that this is the right way to go? Because you've been there for 10 years. How much of convincing have you been able to do, or how easy has it been, or how hard has it been?
Well, I don't really see it as our role to convince. We're trying to grow from our scholarship program that you're right has been around for 10 years into a new university program that allows students to get degrees from the United States while staying in Rwanda. We're learning a lot about how to run a program like that is different than some of the traditional practices, and we'll share that. I think the test will be in what the marketplace says. If employers find our graduates to be better prepared, they're going to hire them, and that word will spread. And what we hope is that every graduate from Rwandan institutions, whether it's Kepler or any of the public or private institutions, gets a great job in a quickly growing economy. And our hope is to provide a good example of one way to do it.
All right. So how do we be part of this? I mean, I'm talking from the perspective of those students who want to be part of this. What are the quick takeaways that they need to take a note, a pen and a paper, and write down? What are those things that they need to do for them to be part of the program?
So I'll answer that in two ways. For those that are looking to be in university next year, they need to go to kepler.org/apply, or just www.kepler.org and click on apply, and fill out the very simple form before February 22nd. Longer term, for those of you that are in secondary school right now, focus on your English skills, focus on your math skills, and try to get some experience in entrepreneurship or in business while you're even still in secondary school. We've had a number of great examples of our students who have already become entrepreneurs while they're still at Kepler. They've had students that have started a program to show football games in the neighborhood,
or rearing rabbits.
And we have all sorts of examples of our very smart students who are already creating jobs and have employees. And we're starting this month a partnership with a nonprofit to provide loans to our students who want to start businesses. So while they're still Kepler students, we're giving them low interest loans to follow their dreams and to start their businesses. At the same time, we're giving them business coaching and we're helping them succeed.
So it's a full package.
Absolutely.
You have low interest loans for the students. You have the training and the advising when it comes to being entrepreneurs and all that. So at the end of the day, what else then don't you do there?
Well, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Our students are happy. It's a residential program. Our first and second year students all live in houses within walking distance of our campus, which is in the Kimironko area. And they're happy to be there. They work really hard, but we give them lots of support. We want them to have options when they graduate. Freedom is about having options, right?
Options, yes.
And
you can decide where,
and happiness
where
is about having options.
Yeah.
And so we want them, if their passion is to start a business, we're going to give them the skills and some of the capital to do that. If their passion is getting a great job in the financial services sector or the manufacturing sector or the hospitality industry or in government or an NGO, we're going to prepare them for that. We're going to help them get an internship that's productive. It's not just a make work sort of internship. And we're going to do our very best to place them in a job that they'll find satisfying and that they'll learn from and that they'll grow in.
We've talked of the way of applying and we've talked of the online platform, but let's talk to that person who's listening to us and they don't have access to this, or probably they are in the village or one of their parents has visited Kigali and they're listening right now. How then do they participate, those who are outside of Kigali and away from the internet?
So we will be all over the country over the next couple of months. We have partners in every region of the country where people will be able to submit paper applications. We'll be announcing where those are over the radio all over the country. So as we've developed that schedule, people should listen to this radio station and get that schedule. We also will be able to have local partners that will allow people to do online applications while they're in offices. So we have NGO partners, for example, in a number of towns around Rwanda that will both accept paper applications and provide internet access for people to fill out the online application, which only takes a few minutes to get started.
There's been this argument or a feeling that all this is just beyond my pocket, it's beyond my means. There's that notion that always goes in people's minds that they say it's studying a university that or a degree that is not local is too expensive. How do you answer to that?
Cost should not be a barrier to anyone attending Kepler. If people are from vulnerable and low-income backgrounds, they'll get a scholarship.
This is automatic.
Yeah. If they're from a middle-income background, they may get a partial scholarship. They may be provided access to a student loan program. Our tuition is almost exactly the same level as the University of Rwanda's tuition, about 600 and some thousand francs a year. But I want every student that's listening to this right now to understand it doesn't matter what your economic situation is. If you're smart and you want to go to Kepler, we'll make it work for you.
This is a guarantee.
Guaranteed.
They can hold you to that.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk of the parting words. Those that you would like to tell people as we finish, as we conclude. What are those key things that you want them to take away and keep in their mind always?
So, number one, Kepler is the only place in Rwanda to get a U.S. accredited bachelor's degree without leaving Rwanda. Number two, we're going to help you get a great job. That's our commitment, is to give you the skills and help you learn the attitudes that employers are looking for. Number three, if you're interested, go to kepler.org/apply before February 22nd. Earlier is better. And fill out the short application, and we'll get you started in the process. We'll be doing interviews and tests in March, and in April we'll be letting people know both if they've been accepted and what their financial aid package is.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure that it is time for us to wrap up. But of course, we want to say a big thank you for coming in. Will I be allowed in if I came in with my Kepler t-shirt? Does it guarantee me entry to...
Eugene, you are welcome at Kepler anytime.
Anytime?
Anytime.
Will I pay school fees?
I will give you a personal scholarship.
Oh, I'll hold you to this. I have a recording to this. Huh?
Yeah, well, I understand we're going to be on YouTube, so
yes,
I've guaranteed it now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris, for being on One-on-One, and thank you so much for the good work you're doing. And of course, we hope that we've been able to reach out to those students who want to further their studies and probably they've been wondering, how do I do that without leaving the country? Thank you so much once again.
My pleasure.
All right, there you have it. One-on-one comes to an end. We draw the curtains to the show today, and we hope you've been definitely informed to be able to follow up on the show's takeaways. Go to our Twitter handle or just search hashtag 101RW. You'll be able to get the brief notes on what we've been talking about right here. Many thanks to Donnelly for the tweets, and of course our team right here at Contact FM that made the program a success. Goodbye. As always, Eugene Nangwe is my name. Goodbye.